Everybody, Friday, once again, don't have a little door in Mexico. Had to drive here. Yeah, so late. But, it's 7 a.m. here versus 3 p.m. in Estonia, so I should get a bit of leeway. A little bit, just a little bit. Let's do a mic check since I'm using a webcam mic today because my normal lapel mic and my shotgun mic don't want to connect. Spent a few minutes trying to connect those bad boys. They don't care. They don't care it's Friday. They don't care it's an AMA day. They could care less. They also don't care my shirt is extremely wrinkly. Apologize for that. Haven't had any time to do any laundry. I don't know how many times I wore this shirt, by the way, but definitely more than once. Okay, let's see. So let's check some audio. Let's see what we can do. Yeah, too. But is it still low? Is the audio low? I can try to do something with that. I'm not sure how much I'm going to be able to do there, to be honest, but I can try. Audio is okay. Okay, I'm speaking loud anyway, so which I always do. So, not really a change for me. So, anybody ever driven through Mexico, by the way? Just a random question. Reason being is that we've been having this whole summer event here this week for employees in the U.S. and Mexico, and also some employees from Europe. And I've been doing this kind of almost vlogging thing about all the circus acts that happen at the streetlights. Saw a dude yesterday on my way to work, probably around 8 a.m., something like that. He came out, confident, looked like he was going to juggle. I thought, amazing, a juggling show. That's exactly what I need at 8 a.m. I don't need coffee, never mind, no caffeine for me, but a juggling show, that's going to get me, it's going to get me ready for the rest of the day. My man juggled two balls. I don't even think that's called juggling. I think that's called throwing balls. I don't know what you call it. If anybody knows what juggling of two balls is called, without going to NC-17, let me know. All right, we're going to jump right into it. Well, not really right into it, but here we go. In the past, you said one of the reasons not to have XCM listed elsewhere was so liquidity won't be spread out too thin. Now that XCM's current situation, do you still agree with that statement? Yes. In fact, there's a few reasons. That was one reason. The other reason was regulatory, and you can see now more regulatory scrutiny on listings at Coinbase. You can see still the XRP saga. Not that that's the entire reason that the SEC is being a bit of a the guy that no one likes in the room, but that is one major reason, or one, well, maybe it's not major, that's one reason. Let's throw it out there like that. The other side of that equation is that we have a price floor, and that obviously is not going to be respected anywhere else. So does that just means we can't have price floors? We could have never had them. I think if we were to remove the price floor, and don't anybody come to me and say I'm removing the price floor, because I'm just not going to respond to those things and tell them. If big word, if, a small word, big meaning in this particular case. If the price floor to be removed, I think it would provide some additional liquidity in the short term, but I'm not sure it would actually be the best thing in the long run, and that's why we haven't done so and don't plan to. Still a lot of things in the works, though. Really, there's a lot of things in the works. Problem is that sometimes these things don't have the immediate effect that we would expect, but over time they will have an effect. In the short term, they don't. Some that we haven't done yet, potentially, that we think are long-term effects, may have short-term effects. So still a lot of things coming. How much XCM does it take to be on the top 10 or 5 retail holders? Top 5? Probably over 5 million. Top 10, a million, 2 million, probably something like that. But those are off the top of my head, guys, so don't quote me on that. There's been talk and promise of new staking opportunities. Say Monkey Biscuits with more cryptos. When can we expect new crypto to stake? And if you disclose which ones? I think in September, you're going to see some more staking options. Won't disclose which ones, but I do believe you're going to see staking options in September. Also a priority at the company right now. Good morning, Kevin. Canadian Miner, good morning to you. Would love to see you do an AMA with Candana Eco Team. What are your thoughts on the Michael Saylor tax evasion suit? I personally didn't know DC had an attorney general. A lot you probably don't know about DC. We all don't know about DC. We all care never to know about DC. Okay, so back to the first one. Candana Eco. Sure, we could do an AMA with Candana Eco. I've definitely had my fair share of back and forth with Francesco over time. So I'd be open to that. If Francesco wanted to do it, I'm open to do it. What are your thoughts on the Michael Saylor tax event? So, it came as a surprise just because it wasn't something that was in the back of my mind. I'm not going to tell you I was already betting on a Michael Saylor, tax fraud option. Wish I had at this point. But not so much. I've said before, I think Michael Saylor is a loon. And I think he's bad for Bitcoin. I think he's bad. He's definitely bad for the rest of the market, but he's bad for Bitcoin too, because he's kind of what every normal person thinks that Bitcoin people are like crazy, basically. Crazy, thinks Bitcoin's a religion, talks like, he just dropped a lot of LSD and it went down the wrong pipe, So it kind of doesn't surprise me. Now, whether or not there's any merit to that suit, we're going to find out. Maybe it's all just BS. Maybe it's DC, the DC Attorney General just trying to, push some weight. Maybe he wants to become the US Attorney General and he figures, let me attack this crazy Bitcoin guy and maybe that'll do it for me. I don't know. Innocent until proven guilty. Michael Saylor is a loon, though. And to be honest, if he gets silenced in the Bitcoin community, it would not be a bad thing for the Bitcoin community or anybody else for that matter. I have to imagine. And probably the board of MicroStrategy as well. All right. So I think we already figured out that this was good now. Cool. Deep Philippe, smash the like button. Fucking A, man. Thank you. Are there any issues with KYC verification? Could not pass it for a couple months. Months, huh? Well, there's no issue overall with KYC verification. There may be an issue with yours, obviously. I guess I don't know what that issue is, so I can't talk about it. I definitely wouldn't ask you to put any personal information into this public chat. You can always DM me at Kevin Murcko on Telegram, and we can try to figure it out. Also, we do have, I think, the best support in the industry. I think that. A lot of people think that. I'd say we have the best support in the industry. The industry seems to think so, at least. Now, so I don't know. I mean, there could be a lot of reasons. Maybe you're living in a restricted country. Maybe you're simply, outside of our risk parameters. Maybe, there's some other reason that obviously, that if there was, we couldn't disclose it to you anyway. But yes, if you want, DM me. If you haven't been in touch with support, other than maybe back and forth with whoever may have contacted you because of that issue, get in touch with support. They're great. Again, if not, you can DM me at Kevin Murcko on Telegram. Let me know what the issue is. Send me your registered email address. I'll take a look. Any work being done towards offering ETH or link staking on CoinMetro, or when, if that becomes available? So for ETH, still protocol-based ETH staking, not that attractive for us. But yes, there is work being done for ETH staking. And link staking, good question. I don't know where we are with link staking particularly, but we literally have a project in the company about new staking options, and we are exploring at least half a dozen different assets. So there you go. SEC is corrupt and paid for. They represent shadow government and banks. I love the word. Look, I'm not a fan of most things that happen in the world, and I think blaming government's easy. I mean, obviously somebody elected them. Whether or not you believe the election was real or not, at some point somebody voted to have elections, and that probably was a real vote. So at the end of the day, I don't think the entire SEC is corrupt. Inept in many ways, maybe. Slow in many ways, maybe. Lots of misunderstandings in the room, probably. People in there that are corrupt, for sure. people in there that just simply want to try and get a headline to become, instead of, I don't know, number 3 on the ladder, number 2, for sure. That's every organization, especially in government. But I wouldn't say the SEC is corrupt overall, to be honest. I think that's a blanket statement that doesn't make any sense. And it doesn't really help your argument either, because if everybody's corrupt in the shadow government and the banks and they're all out to get you, then you just kind of create this persona that no one's going to believe you except a very small subset of the population that also thinks the same. But does shit happen at banks and government and the SEC that shouldn't happen? Of course, absolutely, all the time. How is the application for the MTF license progressing? Haven't heard any news about it in a while. Does CM need it anymore? So we talked about this probably towards maybe beginning of the year, end of year for sure last year. So we had plans to go after initially MTF licensing, multilateral trading facility in the EU, to be able to offer securities and to be able to trade our own, stock, right? Our own equity on the platform. What happened? Well, we had a huge fraud case at the end of last year with a lot of U.S. citizens potentially almost getting scammed. We stopped it. However, what it meant is that we needed what we thought it meant strategically is that we needed to refocus attention on U.S. regulatory issues, not issues, but U.S. regulatory in general, go after state licensing, etc. And then a bunch of other stuff happened. We started going after other licensing. In reality, before that, we realized that MTF wasn't really what we needed anyway. In fact, it would hinder some of the things we want to do. But in Estonia, the license, MTF is not a license; it's a permission on a license. It's an investment firm license with MTF permissions. So we decided that what might make sense, we go after the investment firm licensing without the MTF permission, but then U.S. regulatory focus, and then FIU changes in Estonia, and then UK registration focus, and then Dubai registration focus. So US is still on the cards as well. And so all that stuff has delayed us going forward with that licensing. Do we need it with our current product base? No. Do we want it? Yes. So it's on the list of wants in licensing, and we will go after it at some point. But right now, we don't have a clear timeline of when that is. One NFT market. You're still working with that NFT artist. Yep, haven't seen any NFTs from them, but yes, we are still working with them. NFT market. I'm not, look at NFT, they're down, 98% on volume or something. I think I said this in the beginning, the NFT market as it is today will go away for the most part because it's not interesting. It just isn't interesting. It's interesting for people who like to put, puking monkeys as their avatar on, MySpace. As a joke, by the way. But it's not interesting for most everybody else. Digital art is, I like art. Digital art is interesting. Digital art, I like digital art. It's like a hobby. I like art in general. I like art more than I like digital art, to be honest. But I like art. There's a lot of people like art. There's a lot of people that wish they could know that the art they're buying is legitimate, i.e. NFT. Great. There's a lot of people in logistics. So logistics, a lot of people in finance that could use NFTs for a lot of stuff, even government. Hopefully not shadow governments. So at the end of the day, there's a lot of things that can be done with NFTs. What's been done so far? Who fucking cares? And the market's showing you that nobody fucking cares, really. Everybody who had to launder their money laundered it, and everybody who wanted to, scam somebody by buying their own NFT 7 times to raise the price already scammed somebody. And now it's like, well, what are we doing here? And so NFT market for art, digital art, that doesn't seem appealing to me. NFT market for NFTs that hold some type of value, meaning that non-fungible is equated to some specific value, i.e. Free trading for life at CoinMetro. That'd be a cool NFT to have. Or, something similar down that line. Free Netflix for life, NFT. I don't know. It depends how old you are, how much is that worth, but you get my point. That type of NFT market, that seems interesting to me. That's more along the lines of merchant services, which is something we're just now getting into. And I expect to see something Q1, Q2 next year for merchant services, if not even in Q4. And then we can build on that, I think, with NFTs. Lovely to you too, my friend. Lovely to you too. Hi, Kay. Hi, Jay. Oh, you're Jay. Oh, you are really Jay. Look at that. Was that Men in Black? Amazing. Where do you see Coin Metro in 2 to 5 years? What if Coin Metro doesn't have explosive growth? How much risk as a company are you going to take? Sorry for a lot of question marks. It's all right. Love question marks. Love questioning things. Everybody should question things. That's what life is about. More questions, the better. Except if you're, a regulator. Don't ask too many questions. That just gets boring after a while. Ask good questions. Love the good questions. Love the really good, poignant questions. So keep throwing those out. Keep throwing those out. But just the poignant ones, please. But you guys ask all the questions you want. And what if CM had explosive? Okay, doesn't. Sorry. So in 2 to 5 years, look. Eventually, these questions will become, a thing of the past. It's inevitable. It will happen. How we get there could be clean. It could be messy. Or it could be just volatile, right? So far, I think it's been volatile, but mostly clean. Meaning, we haven't seen this, but, we've seen kind of this and this and this, But generally speaking, growth. So 2 to 5 years. Look, I believe that we're going to have more licensing. I believe we'll be in more markets. I believe we'll have more products and services. I believe we'll be fine-tuning really what people really want from a platform like this. I don't think it's just crypto trading. I don't think people necessarily want to buy and sell the latest shitcoin. I think in reality, what people want is some place where they can kind of learn from others and be able to generate income that they otherwise wouldn't be able to generate and choose their risk level. I think that's still a high-level version of what could be much more granular, and you guys can probably imagine some of those things, passive income being staking, passive income being copy trading, passive income being something else that we're about to roll out. And so I think that's where we're going. Why? We look at the world today, right? Inflation is shit. It's going to get shittier, right? The numbers on the screen may change, less shittier, but it's going to get shittier. That's for sure, for a lot of people. And incomes are going to be stagnant. We're going to have stagflation probably for some time. I think people are realizing literally who caused this, right? It's one thing when there's inflation and whatnot because it's caused by, ridiculous consumer spending and then a consumer credit crisis. And you're like, well, we did this to ourselves. That's probably coming at some point, by the way. But it's not. It's this reaction to the pandemic. It's printing money without really any major result at the end of the day. It's just lackadaisical solutions to problems that don't go away. And so that I don't think, the world has always been the same. We just see cycles. This has happened before, maybe for different reasons. It's going to happen again. So I think people, especially younger people that are old enough now to have a brain that thinks about these things, can see that, well, this shit ain't going to work, right? If I take out all the student loan debt, thanks, Mr. President, for the 10K of my 150K debt, that's also now going to indebt the country more to make inflation higher. So when I do get the job that I paid 150K for the degree for, and I'm making 60K a year or 80, I can probably pay the loan off in 25 years, but really I'm making 40K compared to what I would have made because of inflation. Thanks. I think they're starting to realize that. That means that no matter what profession you have, you need options. You need the ability to beat the market in some way. You need options. And those options in the traditional markets are few and far between. Stocks, sure. There's lots of them. Who are you going to pick? You can go into a mutual fund, sure. You can use an advisor. Oh boy, sure. There's a lot of things you can do. But there's no market that's been able to do what this market has done. Now, it's maybe not going to do what it did the last 13, 14 years in the next 13, 14 years. But since it's nuanced and and younger people are coming into it, the kind of exciting properties, like the next Uber is going to be tokenized, right? It's not going to be 5 guys in a room. I'll give you 5K. I'll give you 5K. Now they have 25 million. Well, maybe they have less now for sure. But it's not going to be that. It's going to be tokenized. And so I think in the next 2 to 5 years, we're going to see a major shift in how all that stuff works. But passive income and the ability to have choice in how you get more money, basically get more financial freedom, etc., is gonna lie with platforms like ours. How much risk are we willing to take? Well, we're in crypto, so obviously we're already willing to take a pretty big risk. You know, when it comes to company money, we try to be as conservative as we can. With client money, there's not a word for it. We don't touch it. When it comes to our money, we want to be conservative. Problem is that, you know, yes, there's going to be times we have to take on risk. I'm willing to take on a bit of risk if I see that there is significant potential gain without putting the lifeblood or the company at risk. And meaning, like, you know, we'll take this big risk because it might mean 100x, but tomorrow we might not exist. That's a risk I don't take. Do you have a price prediction for XM in 5 years, just for fun? You know, most people won't do this. They'll go, wow, there's no price talk here, you know, but understand this is a prediction. This doesn't mean go buy XCM, but, you know, go buy XCM if you want to. Please do it right now. I'll wait. But what I'll say about price prediction, I don't like to mention price specifically. What I'll say is that we have a utility token tied into our ecosystem. It gets more and more tied all the time. There's more and more utility coming. In fact, we're working on a ton of utility. And so if you believe that CoinMetro is going to be here in 5 years and be bigger than they are now, apply that multiplier of how bigger you think that means, and apply an additional multiplier somewhere between 5 and 20x on that. Because as we grow, the market value of XCM must exceed the growth of the company. Because as we add more tokenomics, as we need to pull more XCM from the market in order to achieve those tokenomics, you know, we create scarcity. You know, it is deflationary. We're not going to print any more XCM. We're not minting. We are burning, and that burn is going to accelerate, not with profits, not like with our overall, let's say, valuation. It's going to accelerate with transactional flow. And there's always going to be substantially more transactional flow than there is profits. When will parallel flux mining assets be released? We already got 5% drop, but last time we also got parallel mining assets paid out at the same time. Hey, Kim, that's quite unfortunate. I can't answer that one for you today. They will be paid out. You know, we understand that also the cost for us for flux right now, flux for us is essentially, I believe we're losing money or just about break even. And the reason for that is, well, the flux worlds don't pay significantly more. Those significant, kind of like other assets did, like Cadena paid much more, etc. Thought pays more. And so we are limited to what we can take as our profit or our revenue off the top of that. As well, they changed their node structure, so we had to get twice the nodes, which cost us twice the money, essentially. We've been able to reduce that a bit with some great sysops work, but still, we're not necessarily making money on flux. The only way for us to really do that is to reduce the APR. If we do that, so I have to see we have to look to see what those parallel assets look like, because it may be a case where we're trying to figure out whether or not that puts us, you know, in the red extremely. So. But I do believe they're going to be paid out. I just don't have I don't know, to be honest. I haven't really had a discussion with the team. But ask me next week. I'll try to I'll take a note. Actually, tag me on Telegram so I don't forget, because, you know, I might. I'm tired, but not for any bad reason. So we've been having this whole this whole week, we've had this summer days Mexico. So for instance, yesterday brought the team out, 15 of us on a boat from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. We sailed around here. We didn't sail. We motored around here, went out to the island. We went on the beach for a couple hours. It was cloudy and a bit rainy, but it was still fun. It was great because nobody got sunburned, I think. And then we came back. We had a few hours reprieve, and then I brought everybody out for dinner. And I think a lot of people stayed real late. I got out of there at 11 because I had to get back and pick up my daughter, etc. But the whole week's been like that, kind of to bed around 12, 1, up at, 5. And so, yeah, it's coming down on me now, man. I need a day. I need a day, at some point I need a day. Hopefully that'll be Sunday or something. I don't know. Hopefully. But yeah, I'm a bit tired. But it's not no bad reasons, just tired. Point blank. In an interview a few weeks ago, you mentioned your mining coin idea. Couldn't this be implemented on Coin Mentor as a product at some point? Also sharing mining rewards via Mars. Yeah, I think, the mining rewards on Mars, I think Mars will become over time passive income, period. Doesn't necessarily mean it's always going to be staking. And so, yeah, the mining coin, it could. I think the whole idea of cloud mining, though, is kind of, for most things, dead. Just because anything that's really worth mining, for the most part, unless you're speculative mining, which you might as well just speculatively be buying cryptocurrency at that point, because most of the time the hardware you're going to buy, the time you're going to spend, etc., you might as well just buy it. And so, the things that are worth mining, cloud mining, there's just too much competition. And so, but I think partnering with mining firms, and we're in talk with one for sure, so that we can potentially offer, shared rewards, I think is a good product. Like I said, I think Mars should be more than just staking. What do you think about the reports from Avex about a law firm buying out a law firm and using it to sue their competitors, personal enemies of the founder? Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, lots of buying out a law firm is the same thing as, having a lot of top attorneys. Well, I don't know if they're top attorneys, but having a lot of attorneys work in-house. That's what it is. They're just going to go in-house. So yeah, all right. I mean, it's basic corporate, that's just normal corporate, ridiculousy is, there's a lot of strategies to corporate life. One of them is, let's just screw everybody else. Let's slow everybody down. Let's get them to sell to us. Let's do whatever so that we can, grow faster. Happens all the time. So what do I think about it? Look, when it comes to, I think in many things, in my personal life, let's say my ethics in my personal life, and then ethics is a bad word. Let me think of a better word. The way I would view this, so as a personal note, like if I had a friend who bought out a law firm to sue his enemies, I'd say you're a dick. Like that's what the fuck are you doing? Like you're just wasting your time, right? You don't like this guy, you can sue him. In the corporate world, a big in-house, one, because as you grow, you're going to get hit with lawsuits. That's just the way the world works. So you need people to defend you against them. Fine. Two, there are going to be competitors that maybe you're trying to buy and they don't want to sell. So you want to make their life a bit difficult. Yeah, it's a strategy. If it works for you, more power to you. I don't want to be one of those competitors. But that's why I, as a competitor, need a freaking in-house legal team, right? That's the game. It's part of the game. So, I don't really look at anything on it. I think it's, I think it's weird that it became public like that. It's like one of those clickbait headlines, buying out a law firm. It just means, they're building an in-house team. All big corporations do that. I think you answered this another AMA, but I see I'm working on a way for users to exchange, trade to each other securely and directly with each other. You mean internal transfers? Yes. I don't know why that hasn't been pushed out yet. So we have the design, it's ready to roll. There was a legal question. There's no more legal question. So that should roll out soon. Remember soon, guys? Soon. Trademark. What are the short-term plans for Mars? It started out beautifully, but right now it's not really doing much to entice new XCM buyers or stakers. Any dates? Yeah, we know that, man. Kim, we're on that, man. I mean, I don't need. I got LASIK surgery, so I can see that from a distance. And anybody in the company with glasses doesn't even need to put them on. We see it. And so, yeah, we're looking at multiple staking options. All those will roll into Mars. We're also looking at other ways to provide passive income in Mars without staking. And so, yes, any date in September, you're going to see some changes to Mars. I'll give you that. Are there any plans to purchase items, for example, CM clothing? Are there any plans to purchase items, for example, for XCM? Well, we have a store, coinmetro.store. You can check it out. If there's really something there you want, and you want to pay an XCM, DM me. We'll figure it out. It is a plan. It's not obviously the highest priority because, well, if it was, I should be fired because, you know what, guys? Let's throw all this regulatory stuff out. Forget all the stuff with EMI and digital fiat. Forget about making sure that we're compliant in all these countries. Let's forget about making sure we have more bank accounts. Let's forget about dealing with the regulator. Let's forget about filing this with the tax board. Let's forget about, and let's just focus on, XCM for merch. I mean, I would fire myself at that point. Like that would be a fireable offense to myself. I would fire myself, then I'd go home and eat some Ben and Jerry's on the couch, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, I think it's something I would like to do. I'd like to gamify that as well, and it's something we've definitely talked about. It even might be on some distant roadmap, but not currently. Are there plans to be able to purchase different kind? Well, this is a bit different. So services, yes, that's part of utility. So yes, and services maybe even being tied to tiers, absolutely. What are the changes CM does? What are the chances CM does another internal funding round through bonds in the future? Bonds, I don't know, but we're going to be doing more funding rounds. That's for sure. Right now we have runway, but this business becomes capital intense because you need money everywhere. You need money in the places you're paying withdrawals. You need money at liquidity providers. You need multiple of them. You need money at, here or there or everywhere to be able to whatever. I mean, I could go on a list, but I'm going to bore the shit out of you guys. The point is, you may have, the bigger your client base grows, the more money you need to support the client base, company money in different places to make sure things are seamless. And so we have runway, but sometimes we need to park runway in treasury to be able to support seamless operations. And so there's going to be a funding round. Absolutely. The plan was, and still is, Q1, Q2 for a, let's say, kind of VC round. But I think we may see something else happen as well. We'll see. This market is what it is, and CoinMetro is still growing. And so we need to make sure that we can keep things seamless. When do you expect XCM price to rise out of the floor again? Q4 it has historically, except for 1 year, been good for crypto. We're going to see what happens this year. A macro push for crypto in the right direction will help XCM as well. Also, some of the things that we're continuing doing in the month of September, in the month of October, I believe are going to have an effect. I think some of the things we already did have had an effect. You never know really what the effect is, because maybe that book would even be, more lopsided hadn't we done what we've done. Maybe it wouldn't, but no one really knows. So I do think we've already had an effect, a good effect, even though it may look that, that book fluctuates, up and down. And I think things that are coming are going to have an even better effect. And so Q4, if it goes well, if we do see a little push at the end of the year into higher prices, Q1 is usually a decent quarter as well. Not as much as Q4, but that is going to help. So, if I put a date, I don't like to put a date on it, but I think anyway, I told you that we were working on a timeline originally of 90 days from when we sent out this email here. And that 90 days is going to end, I think, the end of this middle next month, I think. We're still going to do a lot within those 90 days. Considering that's brushing us in now almost to the fourth quarter, I think that when we need to see what happens, market-wise in that fourth quarter, because if people start making money on the rest of their portfolio, they're more inclined to buy other assets. If they're losing money in the rest of their portfolio, they're trying to sell anything they have they can sell. And whatever we do is not going to stop that. We are getting new clients. We've seen spikes now in signups. Now we need to see spikes in conversions. So we've started down the path. In the past 3 or 4 days, we've seen a new baseline, which is about more than double what our previous baseline was. So things are moving in the right direction. And that means also more people coming in, more people looking to buy XCM. So I have my eye on Q4. What is the status of debit cards? Active today, Kim. Awesome. I know you're not super excited about it. A card would solve a lot of mainstream worries and not being able to get magic fantasy money back out of suspend easily. So we have a project currently in the company, just assigned a project manager team, which is to get digital fiat integrated with CoinMetro. The first step on that will be IBANs. I expect to see that Q4. IBANs in Q4 means debit cards into Q1, probably the end of Q1, but Q1. And so, yeah, that's the timeline. But we now have a project manager on the digital fiat project. Again, IBANs are first. We may do virtual cards before physical. I would like to do that. I'm not sure that's what we're going to do, but I would like to do it. But that may push it back a little bit more. But at least with a virtual card as well, you can use, Apple Pay, Google Pay, which, you know, who doesn't use that for the most part? Is the 20% inflation in Estonia hurting CM's business in any way? Well, we're going to pay more in salaries probably. So, you know, it's like we hired 20% more employees, but we didn't get any more resources. But hurting, well, not necessarily hurting, but inflation affects everybody, right? Bottom line. What's your timeline for the next crypto bull market? We have to see what happens in Q4. Q4 is going to tell us a lot what's going to happen in Q1, Q2, Q3 next year. So Q4 is important. Is the afternoon you were diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer? Oh, if this afternoon, okay. And had 1 year to live, what would you do financially, professionally in regard to XCM? Okay, well, I haven't been to the doctor in a long time, so probably never get diagnosed. I might just die one day. You know, maybe I'll just turn up to the office dead. I don't know how I would turn up dead. It's probably not possible. Hopefully. Hopefully not possible, I'm saying. Anyway. Financially. Well, if I had 1 year to live, you know, I'd probably do some things off my bucket list, because you didn't say personally, but there's got to be a personal thing in there, right? So I'd probably knock things off. I mean, to be honest, I don't have really a bucket list, because I've been fortunate enough to travel around, and I'm not a person that I don't get in awe by much stuff. I've seen a lot of things, you know, like that people probably dream of seeing. And I got there and was like, yep, like, you know, I don't know, name them. I don't know, Grand Canyon, Mount Rushmore, Taj Mahal, the Northern Lights, Jesus, I don't know, all kinds of stuff. And yeah, I don't know. So I don't know, but I have a bucket list somewhere. So I get something off the bucket list for sure. Financially speaking, I would secure everything that I had, get out of anything that's extremely risky, at least in my view, and make sure that my family was protected. And in regards to XCM, my XCM would be passed on to my family. I would try and leave enough, at least, you know, knowledge that I have to someone else to make sure that they continue the struggle, and make sure that, well, you know, I don't want to be one of those guys that says, this is how I did it. I want you to do the same, you know, like continue my legacy. I don't care about legacies. My tombstone can literally be blank. I don't care. In fact, I'd rather have it be blank. What I want, though, is that someone takes the reins and does something good with it. And what they do may not be what I was going to do. They may have a much different way to get to the same goal. The goal is important. How they get there, not really. Oddly specific, shady. I don't even know what that was in response to, but, you know, okay. When do you think crypto market will decouple and not be controlled by the tech markets? Yeah, for that to happen, you know, there needs to be a change in who's buying crypto. And that means more adoption. And I think it means, you know, not everybody's going to be a trader. What you want is people to acquire crypto through other means, you know, i.e. if people started getting salaries in crypto, then they're acquiring it without having to speculate on it. And that would change, because that means businesses are buying crypto every week to pay their employees, right? Rain or shine, bull or bear. And so other things like tying crypto into, you know, other kind of market mechanics like that is probably really when you're going to see a decoupling. Hey, Kev, can we get a video tour of the Mexican office? I would do it right now. I could do it on Telegram maybe, because I could do it right now, but I'm on a fixed, you know, webcam. So I can't. I mean, I could carry the monitor around the office, but the cable's not that long. So, any biz dev news? Ooh, biz dev. Yes. So working with I'm not going to say the name yet, because we're still working back and forth, but working with a company that created essentially, let's say, using a specific Stormy network to move the original crypto faster between parties, to provide merchant services on a very well-known e-commerce platform. And we're looking to become their exchange of choice so that we can be the on and offboarding into that system. You should be able to get some hints from that really stupid answer. Please take care of yourself. Take a day off. Yeah, I will, man. Don't worry. At some point, it's inevitable. I just won't show up. But yeah, it's just been a long week, but fun. It's been a fun week, just long. Will there be an option to increase the staking plan XCM for over a year? Yes, And yes, and no, if somebody's gonna be pissed off that I hinted at that one, but okay. Are you happy with the level of signups at marketing efforts so far? Kind of a loaded question. So yes and no. Am I happy from the standpoint of where we are right now? No, I think we should be somewhere else. Am I happy with the fact that, we had a marketing department that was almost idle due to many factors? Now, in the last 2 months, we empowered the team to be non-idle, and they've moved the needle quite tremendously. And while I'm not, I wouldn't say it's perfect. I wouldn't say that I'm 100% happy. The needle's been moved, and we're now seeing results. So in that respect, I'm happy. Look, the world isn't about, we're here, we need to be here, why aren't we here? I need to see stable. I need to see measurable higher results. That's it. If that means, the chart moves like this or like this, whatever, fine. I need the chart to move, and the chart is moving. So in that respect, I'm happy. I wish we would have been here, 18 months ago, but we weren't, but we're here now. When can I sell Schmuggler Band-Aid again? Is that a word? Schmuggler Band-Aid? Schmuggler Band-Aid? And I don't know, dude, because I don't even know what it is, but I don't know. Is that like code for XCM in some language? I hope not. It always says there are liquidity issues. I guess you mean XCM then. I don't know. You must have the weirdest autocorrect on your phone, man. Seriously, your autocorrect needs a talking to. I mean, you got to get stern with that fucking thing. Yeah, there's something wrong with it. I think I answered that question already up top. We are working on doing many things to bring a active buy side back to the XCM book. Right now, you can still sell. You're just in line. When can I sell XCM? Okay. Oh, there we go. Yeah, you're autocorrect, man. I think I answered it. Also that. You will have the option. I mean, it's not about, look, it's all hands on deck on that. All hands on deck, meaning we have multiple areas of attack that we're approaching, and inevitably it's going to change the book. The timeline, like I said, I'm looking at Q4. I think Q4 is going to be super important, not just to us, but to the rest of the market for the incoming year. And so Q4 is going to tell the tale. But we're doing a lot in the next, and we've already done a lot, to be honest. And I think it has had an impact. We will do more, which will have more impact. There's a lot of things coming that, we need a certain market situation to be able to come in and start to provide a bit of liquidity ourselves. We don't have that yet, but when we do, that's going to also be a major catalyst. And I've talked about options that we have. I've talked about kind of where we are now. Like there's a list of options, right? We're here now. If we get to, this point and confusing what am I doing? If we get to this point, or whatever, the timeline moves and we get to some point, and we haven't seen the effect we need, we have an option that I guarantee you will give you the effect we need. It's just an option that necessarily I don't want to engage, day one. Sure, I can explain that. So we have a price floor. Now, what that means is that technically speaking, you can't put an order below a certain price in the book. Right now, that's 60 cents. We've had that price floor at 1 cent. We had it at 3 cents. We had it at 12 cents. Historically, we've never had issues with price floors. In fact, prices almost never touched them. We instituted a new price floor. There was millions in liquidity below that price floor, and then the market crashed. And people decided to sell XCM because, well, they were losing money everywhere else. And they ate up the entire buy side. More buy side came in, got eaten through as well, meaning they just sold into it. Just, people came in and sold millions of XCM. Now, the group of investors, for the most part, that put up that liquidity, I told them don't put more right now, because right now the market is in a state where it's not because people don't like XCM, don't think XCM is worth a certain price, none of that. It's just that they lost everywhere else, and or they're panicking. And if they see a large number sitting in the book, they're going to sell into it. And so the price floor is at 60 cents. you can't put a limit right now at 60 cents so it doesn't appear in the book, because it immediately gets eaten by the sell side. Because there's lots of people waiting to sell on the sell side, right? So that's why there's no liquidity. You can't put a market order in because other people are sitting there waiting before you are. You can put a limit order in at 60 cents and you're waiting in the queue, you're waiting in the line. So when everybody else is able to sell, it'll eventually get to you. So you can sit in the line. I would ask you not to sit in the line, because everybody sitting in the line delays us being able to reactivate the book. Right. So why the FICE floor? Well, it is a utility token. It is probably the most well-defined utility token I think that may exist in the market, at least for an exchange. And as a utility token, it is a product for us, and that product has a price. For us right now, given the state of the business, where we are and what XCM does, that price is 60 cents. So that's it. There's just more people looking to sell that product right now than buy it inside that book. We're doing a lot of things, some of those technical, some of those promotional, some of those that have to do with like tactical, to be able to basically reduce that sell side and enable a buy side again. And we will get there. And like I said, I think Q4 is generally where we need to eyeball. We may do that. I don't know. I've been thinking about that in my own head, but I haven't shared any thoughts with the team. Yeah, that's obvious, I guess. I have a cool idea. What if you could receive cool titles on the official CM Discord based on your tier you're on the exchange or something like that? We could do something like that. People are interested in it. Why not? Like Ultimate CM Moon Astronaut or something. Will IBANs allow me to transfer my money out? Well, Swift is Swift, unfortunately. So I think you're in Australia, yeah? Crikey, mate. I'm sorry. I had to do it. I don't know. It took me a while to think about. I had to get my Crocodile Dundee on. Plus, I was hanging out with someone on our staff, Cameron, yesterday. So he's from Australia. So if, IBANs are still a European kind of bank account, which means it's SEPA. So not really, but the debit card will allow you to use that money without having to Swift it. Swift fees suck. They've always sucked. They're probably always going to suck. We're still looking at getting Australian dollars in local, and that is something we're going to do at some point. So we're trying to save you, man. We really are. Have you seen BitBoy Crypto publicly melting down on Twitter? I haven't been on Twitter yet today. I don't know if it happened today, but I haven't been there yet today. Please, can we have the old app back? Absolutely hate the new one. We had something so simple and easy to use. It's just a complicated mess. Hey, Paul. We get the exact opposite feedback from a lot of people as well. That's the hard thing about releasing new stuff. If you can go more into detail, especially in our feedback channel on Telegram, that would really help us to understand. Maybe it's not about the design. Maybe there's some missing feature that you had before that now is there, but you can't find it, or it's not there, and we can bring it back. I think rolling back the app is a solution if a lot of people have an issue that, you need to roll it back. I haven't seen that yet, but rolling back a feature, bring back a feature if it's missing. Absolutely. Emily from Cadena said that TokenSoft has issues with KBTC KETH. Any thoughts on this? And Lago doing their own bridges? Yeah, they may have issues. I haven't really talked to TokenSoft. We were initially in talks, obviously, to list KBTC and KETH as well. And we haven't done that yet. And they haven't really been in touch with us about it either in the recent terms. We haven't been in touch with them. And the Lago bridges, I haven't looked at them, to be honest. But we all know that there's, a saga of bridges. And third-party bridges, trusting third-party bridges, centralized bridges, or decentralized bridges for that matter, I think is still difficult to do. And so, yeah, don't know actually. Didn't know there was problems because don't really have a connection to KBTC and KETH yet. Take a few more questions here, guys, and we're going to wrap it up. Don't you think it was a bit odd of a decision to set the floor at 60 when the price at the time was about 40? Would have made more sense with the floor at 40, no? Well, I didn't think that. That's why I didn't put it at 40. The 60 cents was attached to a few different metrics, and that's why 60 cents was chosen. Price got to 60 cents, no problem. In fact, it traded above 60 cents, no problem. I think if it was at 40 cents, we'd be at the same problem. We'd be in the same situation at 40 cents. Why? It's not the 60 cents that's the problem. One, the optics of the book as it is now, even if XCM was 1 cent, it's the same optics. And the optics hurt new buyers because it looks like, why would I buy into this? There's nobody buying it except me, which isn't true, but that's what it looks like. Now you have those optics don't change at any price. And the reason why there is nobody on the buy side is because people sold, and they would have sold at 40 cents, and they would have sold 30, and they would have sold 20. They sold mainly old XCM hard into that buy wall. So I don't think that would have changed regardless. I guess this is hopium or opium or opinion. I'm thinking it's hopium regarding Parsec. I still stand behind the Parsec guys. PRQB, I think, was always supposed to be temporary, but I think that they made it last too long. It really should have been there only for a month or two and then discontinued. And people should have got Parsec for their PRQ, for their PRQB. I think that's how it should have worked. But and maybe that's not how it should have worked. But all companies, sometimes may do things that generally don't make sense. We've done it more than once. But I still stand behind Parsec. They still have a great product. They're still growing. And I think eventually that's going to be reflected in the token price. The problem with that is that if one person steps in and buys a lot of XCM, and people see that, the same people that aren't selling now because they want to wait for the book to be active, but they want to sell, will go, oh shit, there's a big whale buying XCM. I'm going to sell mine. And you buy $1 million or €2 million worth of XCM, and you're like, oh, book's fixed, and then right away there's 1 or 2 million more sales at a higher price because you just pushed the price higher. So don't think it fixes the problem really. Temporarily maybe. I want to become XCM overlord. All right, well, that's got to be like tier 3 with a multiplier on it, I think. What do you personally think the financial system will look like in about 50 years? Do you still think traditional banking will be a thing? Well, I think banking's going away in general. Gatekeepers to financial access probably aren't going to go away for the most part. I think that we're going to build a better regulatory system based on tech than humans. Trustless tech or almost trustless tech. I think we're going to see more and more nuanced products and services. I think we're going to see banks still existing, almost in their same form, but potentially like customer owned. So you become part of the bank. It's much harder to complain about profitability on, with overdraft fees when you own some of it. I think we will start to see big banks maybe to go down that route, become more community centric. I think at the end of the day, new generations need to know that they're doing business with someone that makes a difference and where they have a say or own a piece. And I think that's going to touch the financial ecosystem. And I think it's going to make a more inclusive ecosystem in ways that we probably didn't think, that you wouldn't think would be necessarily achieving that goal. But I think it's inevitable. Any plans to show your rank on the staking platform? Not just tiers, but top percentage thing or something? Well, we're thinking about leaderboards. We want to gamify a lot of things. We have a really cool feature coming up that that I think the second or third step is to gamify it. It's kind of copy trading-esque, but it's much more simple. It's on spot, and it's connected to the swap widget. And I think that is where we're going to start with our first leaderboards. Is Evan still around? He's still a majority shareholder. He's still around. He's on our board. He's here. Just been busy. He had back surgery as well. So the older generations who are not too tech savvy want to speak to an actual person for any customer service issues. Is it something you consider to target that age group? It's all age groups, I think. You might be 20 tech savvy and, never get on a phone call anymore. But when you have a problem, there's nothing like chatting with a human. So, I think customer support is so undervalued in most industries. You can have an abhorrent product. If you have great customer support, you can do okay. And so, people want to know that when someone's there, they're empathetic, they're listening to them, when the company's kind of not doing what they should be doing, somebody's there to say, no, you're right, but this is why this is happening. And, this is what we're doing to fix it. And I'm sorry that it's taking this long. And I'm sorry you're in this situation. That goes a long way, especially when it's genuine. Where do you see crypto as a whole in 50 years? I see it not being called crypto. I see it being finance. And people that are born in the next 10, even to 20 years will call it traditional finance. Everything crypto does, traditional finance already does. So it will become traditional finance, but we will be doing things in a different manner. That's hopefully, my hope is that it's better for most people than it is for a few. Thank you, Kim. Thanks for the awesome questions, man. Yep, there's Evan, back from back surgery. Man, typing out messages and shit. Way to go, Evan. Nice to see you, man. Nice to see you, man. That's it. I'm cutting it off there. I appreciate everybody. Here, I'll give you one quick view since we're about to cut out. This is my office in the office. Probably you don't get the best idea what that view is because it's too bright. But basically, you're looking at Manglar, and what you can't see would be the Nichupte Lagoon, and then the hotel zone of Cancun. So there you go. That's my little short tour, but I'll give you guys a Telegram tour here briefly right after we get off of this. Anyway, I see somebody talking about market maker. We want a market maker on XCM as well, man. We just need things to happen before we can do that. And that's it. I'll leave it there. If you have other questions, hit me up on Telegram at Kevin Murcko. Sorry for the wrinkly shirt. I'll do better next time. You can also tweet me at Kevin Murcko. As always, man, it's the weekend. It is the weekend. Tomorrow, we're bringing the whole staff out to an eco park. We're going to be yelling at people to buy XCM while we're there. I will scream it in everybody's ear in Spanish, English. I've also learned to say it in a few other languages. So if they probably don't make any sense, it's going to come out like my man's autocorrect. But, whatever. We're getting the word out. So get the word out, man. We have an amazing referral program. What are you guys doing? Amazing. It's the best in the industry by far. Obviously, our support is amazing. And I'm here. Fuck, man, I need some credit. All right. Have a great day, everybody. Have a great Friday. I got a day of meetings, so wish me luck. And I'll see you here next week, back in Tallinn, back in Estonia, back at the meme wall. See you soon. Cheers.